Welcome to the 5-Minute Prime Podcast. Quick, actionable tips to master personal finance and real estate investing. In just 5 minutes a day, we'll help you build wealth and achieve financial freedom. It starts with one small event. A delivery driver trips on a cracked sidewalk at your rental property in Memphis. He breaks his wrist. He sues. But because you bought that property in your personal name, or perhaps you put it in the same LLC as your other 3 properties in your personal savings account, that one lawsuit doesn't just threaten the Memphis house. It knocks over the first domino. The lawsuit pierces through to your personal assets. Suddenly, the equity in your Austin duplex is at risk. Your personal car is at risk. The college fund you started for your kids is at risk. One cracked sidewalk in Tennessee just cost you your financial freedom in California. Hey, Prime investors, Martin Maxwell here. Welcome back to the 5-Minute Prime Podcast. Before we start building our legal defenses today, we need a standard reality check. Just like with taxes, legal structures are complex and state-specific. I am not an attorney, and this is not legal advice. I am an investor sharing the frameworks used by professionals to protect assets. Asset protection laws vary wildly from state to state. Always consult with a qualified attorney in your specific jurisdictions before forming entities or transferring assets. Understood? Great. Now let's build the fortress. In the last episode, we stopped the IRS from draining your bank account. Today, we stop everyone else. We are moving into the expand phase of the Prime framework, and as you expand geographically, you must harden your defenses. Today, we are dismantling the one LLC fits all myth, explaining why the billionaires park their entities in Wyoming, and addressing the new federal transparency laws that have changed the game for privacy. Let's start with the most common mistake I see when investors cross state lines. You live in a high-tax, high-regulation state like California or New York. You decide to invest in a landlord-friendly market like Ohio or Texas. The amateur move is to just use your existing home state LLC to buy the property. Or worse, you open an LLC in Wyoming because you heard a guru say it's tax-free, but you don't tell anyone about it. Here's the legal reality. If you own a rental property in Ohio, you are doing business in Ohio. That property is physically located there. If you try to manage it with a California LLC without telling Ohio, you are operating illegally. You can be fined, and worse, if you try to evict a tenant, the Ohio court might throw out your case because your entity isn't registered there. So you have to register. This is called foreign qualification. It means you take your California LLC and pay a fee to Ohio to say, "Hi, I'm operating here." But now you have a problem. You have a California LLC doing business in Ohio. That means you are subject to California's massive $800 annual franchise tax plus Ohio's fees, plus the liability trails back to you in California. If you buy 5 properties in 5 states and try to foreign qualify one LLC in all of them, you are creating a spider web of fees and liability that is impossible to untangle. We need a cleaner architecture. The pro move, the institutional move, is the hub and spoke model. Imagine a bicycle wheel. The spokes, these are your child LLCs. If you buy a property in Texas, you form a Texas LLC to own it. If you buy in Florida, you form a Florida LLC. Why? Because if a lawsuit happens to the Texas property, the liability is contained inside that specific Texas LLC. It's an airlock. The disaster can't spread to the Florida property. The hub, this is your holding company. This is the parent LLC. The holding company owns the child LLCs. You, the human, own the holding company. Here's the magic. The holding company does not own real estate. It doesn't sign leases. It doesn't fix toilets. It has zero interaction with the public. It holds assets, your cash, your brokerage account, and the membership certificates of the child LLCs. And where do we place this hub? This is where the strategy gets sophisticated. We usually place it in Wyoming or Delaware. But for most private investors, Wyoming is the winner. Why Wyoming? It's not just because the fees are low, though they are. It's because of 2 words, charging order. In many states, if you get sued personally, say you cause a car accident, a judge can force you to liquidate your LLCs to pay the debt. They can take your rental properties. In Wyoming, the law limits the creditor's remedy to a charging order. This means the creditor has a right to the distributions from the LLC, but they have no right to force a sale of the assets, and they have no voting rights. Here's the kicker. You, as the manager of the Wyoming LLC, can simply decide not to make any distributions. The money stays safely inside the company. The creditor gets nothing. But, and this is the poison pill, the IRS may still require the creditor to pay taxes on the phantom income allocated to them, even if they never received a dime. This creates incredible leverage. Most creditors will settle for pennies on the dollar rather than fight a Wyoming holding company. That is your fortress. Now, we have to address the elephant in the room. For years, people used Wyoming and Delaware for anonymity. They didn't want their tenants or the public to know they owned the property. But as of 2024, the world changed. The Corporate Transparency Act, CTA, is in full effect. This federal law requires almost every LLC in America to file a report with FinCEN, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. You must declare the beneficial owners, the humans behind the company. You have to upload your driver's license. I hear investors panicking. Privacy is dead. The government knows everything. Here's my point of view. The CTA killed secrecy, but it did not kill privacy. There is a massive difference. Secrecy is hiding from the government. That is illegal and frankly dangerous. Privacy is shielding your name from the public database, so a tenant can't look up your home address on the county recorder's website. The FinCEN database is not public. It is for law enforcement, so you can still use the Wyoming Holding Company to keep your name off the public records. Your tenants will see ABC Holdings, LLC, on their lease, not John Smith. But you must file your BOI, Beneficial Ownership Information Report. The penalties for ignoring this are severe, $500 per day in fines. Do not mess around with FinCEN. File the report, stay compliant, and keep your privacy intact where it matters, away from frivolous lawyers and nosy neighbors. Finally, for those of you looking to scale rapidly, maybe buying 10, 20, or 50 units, managing 50 different bank accounts and 50 annual filing fees is a nightmare. Enter the Series LLC. Think of this like a honeycomb. You file one master LLC with the state, available in states like Texas, Delaware, and Wyoming. Inside that master, you can create an unlimited number of series or cells. Series A owns 123 Main Street. Series B owns 456 Elm Street. Legally, the liability of Series A is walled off from Series B. If Series A goes bankrupt, Series B is untouched. But administratively, you usually only pay one annual franchise tax fee to the state for the master. It is the ultimate efficiency tool for the volume investor. However, a warning, not all banks understand Series LLCs. You might walk into a local branch to open a bank account for Series C, and the teller will look at you like you're speaking Martian. And not all states respect the internal liability walls of a Series LLC formed in another state. This is a strategy for the sophisticated investor. If you're buying 1 or 2 properties a year, stick to the hub and spoke. If you're buying 2 properties a month, look into the Series LLC. Your legal architecture is your insurance policy. It's boring until it saves your empire. Your challenge today, I want you to play architect. Take a blank piece of paper. 1, draw a box for every property you own. 2, draw a box for every LLC you have. 3, draw lines showing who owns what. If all those lines point directly to you, or if all your properties are sitting in one overcrowded box, you are exposed. Your goal is to design your hub and spoke, and while you're at it, log into fincen.gov and make sure you have filed your BOI report for every single entity you own. It takes 15 minutes, it's free, and it keeps you out of federal trouble. I'm Martin Maxwell. Keep learning, stay strategic, and keep building one step at a time.